Across Bromsgrove and the villages, we live in an absolutely stunning rural area. North Worcestershire provides that green belt that's the strategic buffer between us and urban Birmingham that you can see behind me. Now, where I'm stood right now, up at Frankley, this is an identified housing site for potentially 5,000 homes that would erode that strategic buffer, that would destroy the 89% green belt that makes up Bromsgrove and the villages, and would risk us becoming an extension of Birmingham. Now, this housing target has been increased by Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister in this Labour government, who's increasing the housing target locally by 85%, whilst reducing the housing target over there in Birmingham by 38%. Now, I think this is wrong, but on top of this, the government are also pursuing a policy of local government reorganisation, which would see the existing two-tier district and county council system abolished and replaced with one single council. Now, the government have been pretty clear. They want to see councils with a minimum of 500,000 people within them. Worcestershire has a population of only 600,000 people. But on top of that, Worcestershire's rural identity underpins the rural identity and quality of life here in Bromsgrove in the villages. Councillor Adam Kent, who leads the Conservative group on Worcestershire County Council, is joining me today. Adam, tell me about what this local government reorganisation could actually mean.
Well, I think probably I'd like to highlight one of the things you brought up first is this is the buffer between Birmingham and Worcestershire. And it runs all the way down. And I think really what you're talking about, 5,000 houses here.
Staggering.
I think there's 1,275 houses being dropped into Whittle in the most unsuitable locations without the infrastructure in place to deal with it. And what I'm really worried about is Birmingham will just end up extended all the way down to Redditch. So we've got to fight that. But coming back to the local government reorganisation, I mean, I think it's a stark choice for our residents, really, isn't it? I suppose, Bradley, it's if we carve our county in two, as you rightly said, the government is looking for a minimum size of 500,000 residents. And the reason for that is that's the size where the council can be viable, where you're paying those executives an amount of money and they're managing an entity that's big enough to survive. If you split that county council into two, you're going to have two much smaller entities, one that's going to be more deprived, which is in the north, the south, which could potentially be more valuable and produce more, but both of them aren't going to be at the relevant numbers. So effectively, the result of this is creating discord by splitting what is a beautiful county now into two pieces, but also that financial aspect for the residents. There is no way two is going to cost less than one. You're going to need two heads of children's services, two heads of adults, two chief executives. And these people are paid up to £250,000 a year. The choice for the residents is quite clear. It's either one Worcestershire Council, Bradley, with the services and everything else working as well as they are at the moment. Our roads are absolutely brilliant compared to Birmingham. Everybody says you go from Worcestershire into Birmingham, it's like going into the Somme. You know, you've got potholes everywhere. We've really worked hard to get those there. And for me, this really would put the financial pressure on two authorities in a way that you just couldn't imagine. There's no way the North would survive.
Well, of course, you remember, Adam, a few months ago when we were up at Walker's Heath and we had that street of two hearts where one side of the road had the bins collected by Birmingham, the other side have the bins collected by Bromsgrove District. And guess what? On the Birmingham side, the rubbish was piling up. On the Worcestershire side, it was spotless. Bins regularly get collected. There is a real danger here that we import problems associated with the inefficiency of Birmingham City Council, which is a byword for incompetency, and our residents risk ending up paying more to get less. We can't afford to let that happen, can we?
No, and I think you make a really valid point about the bin crisis in Birmingham. I mean, you know very well politically, people are already saying, I mean, Redditch is a member of the combined authority already, and they're already saying if you split Worcestershire into two, you could see a situation where South Worcestershire is with another entities in terms of the mayoral situation, and the north side ends up into the combined authority with Birmingham. I can't see that happen. I mean, honestly, if that happened, I mean, I stood on this mandate, and for me, it would just destroy the very nature and essence of what Worcestershire is all about.
Well, look, you've heard it here today. We are stood in this glorious green belt. Behind us in the distance is Birmingham City Council, Birmingham City. We don't want Bromsgrove and the villages to become an extension of Birmingham. We've got a great rural identity here, good services at low cost. That's what's at stake. We must protect our rural identity and ensure that when local government reorganisation takes place, Worcestershire as a county stays whole.